Hey guys, I'm so sorry. My freaking phone died on storage. I don't know if that made sense. I don't have any more storage on my phone, so I'm using my husband's phone. But the reason why I don't think it's gonna work, like I said, is because he was so nasty to his ex-wife. And to me as a woman, if a man treats his previous girlfriend, wife, mother of his kids, whatever she was to him like that, I'm just gonna assume he's gonna treat me like that. I definitely do think he has a preference, which I'm like, all right, that's your business. Um, but I think if you don't, that sets the foundation for me. And he's been going through relationship after relationship after relationship. I remember when he was with my boo, Taylor Page. She's a phenomenal actress. I was like, I don't know about that. I was like, and he's talking about she's the one for me. We're like equally yoked. We're like soulmates. And then they broke up. And I was like, why the fuck did they break up? I don't know if they were engaged, but I remember she immediately got married to the next guy she met. And I thought that that was a little strange, like a couple months later, and then popped out with a baby. And I was like, Hollywood don't waste no fucking time. So I'm like, how did you go from calling this man like your twin flame, saying it was meant to be, saying you saw a psychic and she saw you meeting at a party or at an event, and then you couldn't be without each other, not by each other's side, and now it's just splitsville. I was like, I would love to know the tea on that relationship, but I don't think we'll ever get it because Taylor Page is very private. But I was just like, I don't know. He feels very performative to me. It's like he says the right things and he has a very pro-Black agenda, but I'm like, are you pro-Black in action or just in words? Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. There's something insincere about him. And I'm like, he's not overly attractive to me. Like, if I had to pit him and like a Tyreek Withers, I'd probably go with the Tyreek Withers. Like, I just think he's cuter to me. But, I don't want to put two Black male celebrities against each other. I'm just saying this as a reference. But I was like, that is so weird. I was like, they moved really fast. And I was like, even if they did start dating, let's say they started dating in the summer. I was like, this is less than a year later. Like, that's really, really quick. I'm like, so she must have already been pregnant. That's probably why they got married. And I'm like, hey, to each his or her own. I ain't got, for me personally, I always knew I wanted to be married first and then have kids. But people need to do what works for them. And sometimes shit just happens and you just go with it. But I was like, I think she's more his type, but I just feel like he has a bad history with women. And I saw this article, another article on MTO Media Takeout, where they were saying he has cheated on like a lot of his past girlfriends. And I'm pretty sure he cheated on Erin Drake Lee. And she was very responsible and instrumental in building up his career. So I'm like, to do someone like that, you know who it reminds me of? Tyler LaPlay and Miracle Watts. Tyler LaPlay, maybe I'm mixing them two up, but I was like, I get the same kind of vibe or feeling. And Miracle Watts and Tyler LaPlay are now engaged, but I was like, I'm not buying this whole Black love. Like, it has a very pre-packaged, like, our brand is like our relationship. And I was like, I don't like couples like that because usually there's a different story behind the scenes. And I was like, I think he gave her a here, shut up, here, damn ring, kind of like with Mariah the Scientist and Young Thug. But maybe I'm mixing them two up, or maybe I'm just reminded of them. But freaking Tyler LaPlay was with his child's mother for a very long time. I think she was like an agent. She like worked in the TV film space or entertainment space. She helped him, had popped out two kids with him. I don't know if they were engaged or ever married or anything like that. And then he just left her. And I'm like, how could you do that to someone? Maybe I'm mixing them two up. No, maybe I am mixing them two up. But it kind of, the situations are similar. And it's like, so you're going to drag the woman who really built you and was really there for you like that, and then you're going to treat the next one like how you should have treated the first one. And I was like, I will never be in a position to build a man. I'm sorry, you got to already come add in value to my life, or you can't be around me. I'm sorry, I'm allergic to losers, and I'm allergic to stupid people, okay? But I'm also allergic to people who don't pull their weight and don't. I want someone equally yoked, which I feel like my husband is equally yoked with me. But I was like, this is not right. And I was like, he's moving so fast. And I'm like, what about his other kids? And I knew that I forget why him and his ex were going back and forth in court. I think he wasn't pulling his weight. I think he wasn't there financially, but he was also not there physically. And I think there were some issues with like reporting finances and saying he wasn't available and things like that. But I'm like, if you know you're not available, then the least you could do is financially support the child. You have a budding career as an A-list actor or B-list actor, whatever you want to call it, but you have responsibilities. You owe it to your kids to be in their life, and you owe it to show up for them and be present in whatever way you can. I don't even want to say whatever way you can. You should be proactive about doing that. The kids don't ask to be here. And that's another thing that gets me really frustrated as a kid who like struggle with that with their own parents. Like, kids don't ask to be here. Don't drag them in the middle of your drama. And I said to my husband yesterday, I was like, I don't understand people who, when they break up, whether it was a relationship, situationship, marriage, whatever the case may be, and then they have kids and the kids are used as pawns. That really makes me so angry, because it's like the people couldn't come to terms with the loss of the breakdown of the relationship. So then the kids kind of get dragged in the middle. They're almost used as chess pawns or chess pieces. And I really hate that. And I'm like, just focus on the kids, co-parent, be healthy, be communicative. Oh my God. And I'm like wondering, will he be faithful? Will he really be this family man, or will he slip back into his old ways? Cause I don't think he's a faithful guy. I don't know why I get that. He might be different for this one because she's his preference, but as Jessie Woo says, just because you're a preference doesn't mean you get preferential treatment. I do believe she's correct on that. But something in the milk just doesn't seem clean. It just seems so fast. It just seems like it came out of nowhere. And I'm like, she should be very, very weary. Like, women think that they're above the program. They think that they're special, that they're going to change him, that he's the one, that she's the one to really make him step up. And I don't think any woman can do that. A man has to do that for himself. And a woman can inspire or influence him to do that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, he really ultimately has to do that inner work. And I don't think he's done the inner work. And I'm like, what is the relationship with you and Aaron Drake Lee? Y'all have had this bitter custody battle. Y'all been dragging it out. She's clapped back on social media, as she rightfully should, because she probably doesn't even feel heard. And I'm like, she's the one that has to deal with the consequences, and she's the one that has to parent twice as hard because you're not available, according to her. But I don't trust it. And I'm just like, is he going to do this woman dirty too? Because I'm like, once a cheetah, always a cheetah, you know? But I'm like, a tiger don't change his stripes, does he? And I definitely get that feeling from him, and get that feeling that he knows he's high. He knows he has money. He knows he's sought after. And I'm just like, he kind of gives community peen vibes, but maybe that's just me. But I hope he don't play in this lady's face, but I wouldn't be shocked if he does. I'm marking it now. I don't think their marriage is going to last. And I actually had the same feeling with Elsie Hewitt and Pete Davidson. I know they're not Black celebrities, but I was like, that's gonna crash and burn, because I was like, the relationship was too fast. Like, they immediately got pregnant. I was like, okay, shit does really happen. You be shooting the club up, you do what you do in your bedroom. But I was like, something is not right. I was like, she's gushing over him. Celebrities who talk too much, who pop out and just act like this person is their sun, their moon, their stars. I was like, that never can go well. And I was like, Pete Davidson is not, unfortunately, he's not well. Like, you know, he's been open about his mental health, and I want him to be okay in that regard, so he can show up and be the best father for his daughter he can be, and be the best him he can be. You know, I want him to be healthy, because I couldn't imagine what that's like. But I was like, he just moves from person to person to person, like, and he seems very intense, like all or nothing. And I kind of could get that from Jesse Williams as well. Like, it's infatuating, it's intoxicating at first, but then the newness wears off, then the attraction wears off, and then it's like a woman's body changes when she gets pregnant. And you know, some people don't really like that. They're not attracted to that anymore. The things that were attracted to them in the beginning don't become later on, especially when they get pregnant, even though she's carrying your child and risking her life to do that. But I wasn't shocked when Elsie Hewitt came out. I was like, damn, I wasn't, as Jessie Woo says, I wasn't late, I was early. But like, I just knew it. And now she's on social media airing him out. And I was like, they need to just keep that in-house and just lock in and just figure out a way to communicate. Because really all that matters is the babies. I think her name is Scotty, which is a cute little name. But I don't know, something doesn't feel right about this. And I was like, he didn't marry anybody else, but he's marrying her. Well, I guess he did marry Aaron Drake Lee, but I don't think they were married for super long. And I'm like, I honestly don't think, and I don't say this in a mean way, I don't think Aaron Drake Lee was his type. I wonder if he married her because they had kids or because they had a history. She's not a bad looking woman by any stretch of the imagination, but I just feel like it was just almost like something to do, or like, okay, I feel like I have to take this next step. Like, it's a milestone. Like, I check it off, you know, I accomplished that. But I'm like, I wonder what type of husband he was. And I was like, he was probably in his prime when he was with her. So he was probably out here hoeing left and right. Like, I just don't think a person like that can really change. And especially Hollywood and fame and those things sort of contribute to the ego. And it's very hard to really know yourself and have a secure sense of self in that type of environment and that type of line of work. But yeah, I don't know, something about it just, I was like, I don't wish divorce, I don't wish ill will on them, but I'm like, I'm gonna keep an eye out. But I'm like, the baby gonna be cute, and that's about all I have to say on that. But anyways, I just wanted to talk about it and just run my mouth and gossip a little bit. Maybe not gossip, but you know what I'm saying, just give my thoughts. I just, sometimes when I look at people, I'm like, energetically, they don't make sense. I think I said that about Joshua Jackson and Jodie Turner-Smith. I think I said that also about Zoe Kravitz and Channing Tatum. I also said that about Lana and her husband. I actually think Lana and her husband may work out. I actually do, because I've seen more content with them, and I was like, He actually looks like a Southern gentleman. He looked like, but I'm like still side eyeing him because I was like, you was with that other lady before her for 12 years and you didn't marry her. So what's tea? But I'm like, we don't know what happened in the relationship. Maybe there was infidelity. Maybe there's other issues. Maybe they just fell apart or grew apart. And that's definitely a real thing that you can go through in a relationship. But I don't know, friend. I'm like, this moved at the speed of light. And usually if stuff is not moving organically, it usually does not work long term. But I don't want to push that narrative or just assume that. That's just my 2 cents, and that's what my intuition is saying, that this is not going to work. So when the article comes out that they're not together no more, just run me my coin. But anyways, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.